It's time for another match preview. I'm here with my co-host Mark Ryman to take a look to Luton welcoming Millwall for the early Saturday kickoff at Kenilworth Road this Saturday. How are we getting on, Mark?
Dejected, angry, upset, depressed. But yeah, apart from that, all good. Yeah. How are you?
I'm all right. There were signs of progress.
There
were signs of progress. Yes, 3 goals that were very, very avoidable, but those are goals that can get worked on. And I don't mean like Rob Edwards worked on. I mean, they can genuinely be worked on. It's easy enough to sort it out, and the window's open. So hopefully we'll be seeing a couple new signings. But I guess we'll see what happens with that, and we'll react to that as that happens as well. I said that a lot there. So let's have a look back at that game, said it again, against Oxford in our recap. That. Oxford 3, Luton Town 2, and there were they fireworks or fireballs? There was a lot of pyro at the Kassam.
hot air.
Yeah, a lot of hot air. But it was an interesting game because I would say Luton Town were the better team of the two, but again, same old story, just different but same. 3 sloppy goals, poor marking, keepers not coming out and claiming balls in their 6-yard box. What was your take on it?
Yeah, I agree with you about the positives, but I think that second half for me overshadowed everything else. And while they are basic mistakes, they're basic mistakes we've been making for over a year now. It depends on what your view is. You know, is this something there that is simply can be worked on the training pitch? But I worry it goes deeper psychologically. That's what it felt like to me. In fact, after the first goal that we scored, it felt like we wanted them to equalise. It was a completely different look. It really did.
Deep
and after
marking, wasn't it?
And then as soon as they equalised, bang, we suddenly realised that we can play football again and almost immediately go back ahead. And that's the thing that shows me that it's a mentality issue as much as everything else. Yes, we clearly need centre backs with a bit more mobility and who can notice there's a player in the 6-yard box with the entire Kassam Stadium to himself, right? But for me, the mentality issue is a real concern because the amount of players we need to overhaul that kind of negativity, I can't see coming in the next 10 days, as you say. And that's where my struggle is. But you're right. Loads of positives in the first half. I thought we played it around brilliantly. I thought
McGuinness was excellent.
Yeah. It was unfortunately that's where that ended in the second half. But yeah, he was excellent. Krause was excellent. Clark was excellent. Nakamba was excellent. Clark and Nakamba for the last 2 games have been head and shoulders for me. So, you know, loads of positives there. The goal, of course, was beautiful from Krause. Really good finish, right? After we've been talking about not taking chances. And if Adebayo was half the player he was last season, we'd have been 3-1 up at half-time. Because just, you know, that shot, even before it's blocked, was going out for a throw-in. So, you know, the issues, of course, are in positions we need to replace. My real worry is the psychology of the team is so low. I can't see how we turn it around.
Before I talk about Elijah Adebayo, because you're right, he's not half the player he was last season. He's trying to hit shots with the underside of his foot, like the studs, which makes no sense. His runs are all wrong. He looks a million miles off the pace.
Yeah.
But I've always held the belief that these first couple of games, Matt Bloomfield is treating it as a pre-season. He wants to see as many players as he can. I think Tom Holmes is probably the weak link in that defence. Him and Amari Bell. Amari Bell could not get near Placheta.
Not at all. He's done every single time.
Yeah. I thought Hashi was very good. Hashi's been great against Preston and against Oxford. He's been fantastic. He's like a completely different player playing at right back. And McGuinness, I stand by the claim that he is like the second coming of Steve Davis. His play for Krause's goal was brilliant. It really was. The way he kept the ball and managed to cut it into Kraus, fantastic. Like unorthodox, you might say, but I still thought it was fantastic from him. And then towering header that went over the line. I love that that graphic to show that it went over the line as well. I'm a big McGuinness fan, and you get what you pay for. Yes, he's for 10 mil, well, a fee up to 10 mil. Everyone's expecting like Curtis Davis, but I'm happy enough with a Steve Davis type player. Like you're not getting a ready-made Premier League player for 10 mil, especially in the Championship. And I like him, but you're right on the money by saying the midfield looks absolutely fine. I'd say that is our starting midfield. And Lamine Fanny is going to have a real struggle on his hands to break into that midfield.
Yeah, and I see exactly what you're saying about McGuinness. I worry about positional sense, though, in the goals that went in. And as I said, it's confidence.
But they were all on
well.
Holmes' side.
They were, of course, but when you're a back two, you kind of take joint responsibility on some of those, you know, especially the third one. Yeah, fair enough. But I just think that there needs to be more. These players, if you're a back two, players, you know, cannot be left in egg space. You know, these are 3 defenders that scored as well. You know, these aren't, it's not Brannigan that scored. It's not Plahetti that scored. You know, these are their 3 defenders, 3 out of their 4 defenders. It's only Kyoso that didn't get on the bloody score sheet. I was waiting for him. It was, you know, and that, yeah, that's the real frustration, because I completely agree with you, those positives. I think Isaiah Jones had a quiet game for him. I think they did well. They obviously did their homework on him as well. He got a little bit marked out of the game. I thought also in the second half as well, one thing that we did brilliantly is we stopped players from getting in between the lines, running in between the lines, completely stopped it. That dissipated a bit in the second half, and they were able to get in through the middle a lot more. The only time they really got in the first half is, like you said, down there, right, our left on Bell's side. But they just started to get in a bit more. It's for me, it's 100% confidence, and then we revert back to how we were under Rob Edwards as soon as that confidence
they were trying it a lot with Dembele as well, but he was getting no joy against Hashioka. I think the biggest threat that Hashioka had all afternoon or evening was from the corner flag, wasn't it?
What was that? I mean, I didn't even. I was like, "Oh, good, right, good." And then all of a sudden, he's on the floor. I think I maybe didn't watch it for a second. He's on the floor, and the ball's gone out for a goal kick, I think, or whatever it was. But yeah, that was attacking.
Don't know.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the problem for Hashi under Bloomfield is that the bombing forward bit. Yeah, defensively, I think he had it really, really well. But I think those overlapping runs need a bit of work.
Yeah, well, it's good that he has Isaiah Jones in front of him, so it sort of takes that attacking responsibility. On the other flank, I don't think Bell has it in him. I think a left back is definitely on the top of the shopping list.
Oh, 100%.
Shopping list. Yeah.
Right. Well, there's a lot at the top. It's a big shopping list. It's getting bigger by the minute.
The Amazon Prime wish list.
Yeah. Temu, knowing the way we've been doing business, but let's see.
Oh yeah, well, I think that's enough of the recap. Let's have a look at some. Let's have a look at some team news, shall we? Who's going to be available? Let's find out now. The team news hasn't changed too much. There's still a lot of defenders out for Luton Town. Reece Burke, Ted Mengi, Tom Lockyer. Long-term absentees. Reece Burke is back on the grass, though, so we might see him for a couple of games before his next injury layoff. I guess we'll see.
I'd get Ted Mengi out now at the moment. He can't do any worse.
Well, have you seen that
with his bass?
With the bass, yeah, slapping the bass. He's jamming along with his mates, having a whale of a time.
Well, I suppose if you can't do anything else, I don't blame him, really. Fair enough. But
it was absolutely atrocious music.
You're right. Defensively, no more. But Doughty's a massive boost, and another positive sign. He looked brilliant to me when he came on, and Oh, that cross that Morris should have got to. I mean, that was a beauty, and just there was no one there. It was crazy. But anyway, yeah, him being back massive. Does he play left back or left wing? That's the big question, isn't it?
I think left wing because he can affect the game a bit more. But then, like, who could play left back? Maybe Joe
Bell.
Johnson gets a go, but I don't think Matt Bloomfield rates him.
He hinted, didn't he, almost like he was going to go out on loan, JJ, when he was asked about him and Zach Nelson. It was very different, his responses to both of them.
Yeah,
but I'm with you.
Zach, what a talent! Yeah, what a talent! Yeah. Really excited to find out what his position is. And then with JJ, it was like, yeah.
But I mean, he's got more to go on. If he's looking at footage, right, he'll see Zach Nelson a lot more affecting games because he's played a lot more this season for us than JJ. But I'm with you. I think JJ deserves a chance. I think Bell now, especially in a back four, is kind of done. Really, I can't see how he can affect Luton Town in a back four because he's not a centre back, and he has shown he cannot be that fullback. He's such a weak link in that side, and it's sad to say it because he's been such a massive player for us in the past, and he does more odd forward, but he hasn't got the finishing product there, and he often has to look for other people as well. I'm with you. I like seeing that Alfie on the wing from an attacking point of view, but it does leave us vulnerable going the other way with Bell.
It could mean Doughty on the wing, Zach Nelson in the middle in the 10. Although I've quite enjoyed the Clark, Nakamba, Kraus in the middle. Yeah. So maybe Zach Nelson affects the game from the bench. Maybe.
Yeah, it'd be a shame, wouldn't it? But yeah, I mean, but at least we know under Bloomfield, the bench will come on with a lot of time and change the game. He rotates he does rotate. And that's something that should be said. His substitutes did affect the game. Mostly positive. Not all of them, but yeah, I think it was probably at times at least more of a 4-1-4-1 right against Oxford most of the time, and I think therefore you've not really got that 10 role. Even when Corley Woodrow came on, I don't think he played in that role. He was playing deeper again, wasn't he? So yeah,
I don't know what he's doing when he comes on because he came on with like 5 minutes to go, and he was passing backwards. He was spraying out to the wing instead of like picking his head up and actually going forward with the ball and trying to pick holes in the defense. It made no sense. And he's one that I feel we have to get rid of this window. But the real conundrum is who plays next to McGuinness, because Bloomfield's come out and said he's a big fan of Mads Anderson, although I think it was from an interview a while back, because Mike Simmons has sort of been retreading and republishing quotes from the press conference, Matt Bloomfield's first press conference today. Could Mads Anderson be next to McGuinness? I'd like to see it.
Yeah, it's got to change it. You cannot, for me, you cannot watch those 3 goals, and particularly the last 2 against Oxford, and not change it. You've got to, because it's just not good enough. And I know he's relatively, he's very new in the job, but yeah, it's got to be changed. I'm sorry, Holmes has got to come out. So yeah, for that reason, more than just, I think Mads is going to set the world alight. He looked miles off the pace at times. He looked a little bit better, but when the second time we saw him, but yeah, for me, you've got to change it.
I agree. He looked better against Derby than he did in that cameo against Swansea, where he at times looked like he was running in quicksand. It was really a shame to see, but it's sink or swim time, and essentially we've only got Holmes and Anderson as the options right now until Burke comes back. So, and Chris Makoso, who everyone seems to have forgotten about, he's dropped off the face of the planet, hasn't he?
Is he turned up yet? Is he here? Who knows?
Has he got that international clearance? Yeah.
Well,
he could have a go.
Yeah. I mean, that's why you buy players generally, isn't it? To play them in our position. I know we're in the luxury of being, just let me check the table, 23rd in the championship. So it would be nice to see some changes as we're spending money on them. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and he cost a fair wedge as well.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Don't understand it. Don't understand it. He's one for the future, but he was signed under the previous regime, so maybe Matt Bloomfield has no interest in him. But he's not been seen in development games. He's not been seen anywhere. So who knows? Who knows? Maybe he's trying to sort out his living arrangements. I don't know. It's really frustrating. But shall we have a look at some previous encounters?
Go on, then.
There are lots of them here. Right, here we go. As always, if you want to see every single previous encounter between Luton Town and Millwall dating back to the dawn of man, you need to be checking out hattersheritage.co.uk, the greatest football heritage site on the face of the planet. And that is no exaggeration. If you don't believe me, go check it out. There are articles, there are profiles on every single player to have played for Luton Town and also club staff. Go check it out. You will not be disappointed. Right, but I'm using FOTMob here, so it's just 11 encounters between Luton and Millwall. What's the spread?
We don't have a great record. They're nearly always at 12:30, these games, because Sky's obsessed with it, and they're nearly always really dull affairs as well. We beat them at their place the season we went up, but I don't think we beat them at home. I think it was a draw, but I might be wrong on that one. Millwall generally will have the upper hand on this one. So out of 11, I'm going to go 5 Millwall wins, 4 draws, and that leaves 2 Luton wins.
You're close. 2 wins for Luton, 5 draws, and 4 wins.
Wrong way
for
round.
Millwall.
Right, yeah. Oh,
unfortunately, but your rationale was good there. Any games that stick in your mind? Because there aren't too many that were great, other than the Cornick one, right?
Yeah, I was going to say, the Cornick one, the goals were excellent. And, it's one of those things with Cornick, he either was excellent or no, couldn't hit barn door. But, that was great. Also, is it the McManaman equaliser last minute? I think that was an evening game in the Graham Jones season. Stands out for me as well. That was an important point at home on the road towards eventual survival. So, yeah, I think those ones. I generally only remember relatively poor results against Millwall.
I've
been to a few of them, but they're generally poor results. Yeah, lots of narrow defeats. So yeah, those ones really stand out. I can't think of anything else that I can kind of pin my hat on there. I remember playing them in the cup. Was them straight after the Norwich game?
Yeah, they beat us 3-0. They pissed all over our aspirations, didn't they?
They do. Yeah. So. Yeah, pretty miserable. Let's hope it'll change.
Yeah, maybe we bring back Harry Cornick for this one because he just loves scoring against them. I thought Callum McManaman was quite a good signing. He scored a lot of vital goals for us.
Preston game as well, right? So he has. Yeah.
He always turned up, Callum McManaman. He wasn't everyone's cup of tea, and obviously the last encounter we won 1-0, but that could have been very different had the goal been 1 centimetre wider. Although there was a very good save from Kaminsky at the death. He came out quite far.
Yeah, imagine winning 1-0 away from home, eh? Yeah, it was a goal by Mengi, though, wasn't it?
That was our last win.
Oh, I know.
Away from home. Can you believe it? Mad. Right. But there's no opposition view this week because Phil is unavailable. So we will just have a look at who's giving us sleepless nights then. So, Ryman, Essay's gone. That's nice, isn't it?
Yeah. I was going to say that's probably the best news for us as Luton fans, at least. And I think Langstaff's not had a great time, but he did have a moment, didn't he? A few games where he's playing really well, getting goals and assists. But he seems to have
2
gone
goals,
off the boil
1
a bit.
assist.
Yeah, he's gone off the ball. Watmore's gone off the boil a bit as well. So I'm saying all this, I'm just asking for trouble.
Is Coburn injured? So looking at their Coburn's out until mid-March. That's great for us. Danny McNamara is out.
Yeah,
and Brian Leonard is out as well.
Yeah. So you think? They played What was it for? So he usually played four at the back. Tanganga's obviously the standout at the back, but their defense hasn't been as watertight recently either. So I think it's difficult. I'd say that Denori's scored some important goals, so I'll go
What
with
player
him.
he is,
Yeah, I'll go with him. He's on the break as well. He can score important goals, and that's probably likely where things are going to happen for them in this game. You'd imagine they're not going to come out and try and impose themselves too much on this game. They'll probably sit back and try and get us on the counter and take heart from the amount of set piece screw ups on Tuesday, because set piece wise they are strong. I know they've not got all of their the same strength in height that they did when we played them the last time, but even so, I think they'll take heart from that. Yeah, so
they got enough height. They got enough height in Jake Cooper. So
well, yeah, quite.
I'm worried about him from set pieces. Watmore on the break as well, because Watmore will be up against Amari Bell or possibly Joe Johnson.
Yeah,
it's concerning. I guess we'll see what happens. It's a game that we could potentially win, but you know what? It's now time for score predictions.
Yeah, so I'm going to go for a 1-1. I find this really difficult to predict. It depends really what Luton turn up, and my hope is that we see more of what we saw in the first half against Oxford going forward, and more like the first and second half against Preston defensively. In which case, we'll win the game, I think, because Millwall are in a terrible run of form, as of course we are as well. My fear is that we see a pretty kind of turgid affair going forward, and there might be the odd mistake at the back. So I've gone for 1-1 because I can't call it. And also, Millwall Luton games are always tight. So, yeah, 1-1. I hope I'm wrong. I hope we win.
Oh, ye of little faith. So I've gone for a 2-0 Luton win here. I honestly think... I don't know where the goals are going to come from. I don't think Luton's goals are going to come from our strikers, unless Elijah or Carlton wake themselves up, or maybe Jacob Brown. I think the goals will probably come from the wide areas, or from the midfield, or maybe from Mark McGuinness. Who knows? But I've gone 2-0. I'm feeling positive about this because I've seen enough from the previous two games, other than the defensive disaster class against Oxford from defending set pieces. But the players are going to have a rocket up their arse now because they know Millwall are set piece people. They're going to be launching balls into the box. They're going to be kicking them long into the box, looking for knockdowns and whatnot. I don't think... Well, we can't let Cooper sort of ghost in unannounced like Heelip, can we? He's about the same size as well. I don't see that happening, but
if that man can ghost in unnoticed, he's about the size of one of the stands. He's absolutely so bloody massive. But yeah, I wouldn't put it past him. But yeah, we've got to do better. We have got to do better.
Yeah, look, they know what they need to do, because in play we looked fine. They weren't cutting us apart, but from set pieces, that is where the problem lies. So we know what to do. It's very simple: defend your box and score goals in the other end. So I guess we'll see, won't we? It's impossible to predict. I still think we're in like pre-season territory right now. If only Rob had been sacked sooner, so Bloomfield could have got his philosophy embedded in sooner. Because I like what I see from this guy, I really do. But the board need to back him.
Yeah, and the crowd need to get right behind him on Saturday as well. We're all gutted with Tuesday, really gutted, and fair play to the sellout crowd that went to Oxford as well, with a renewed hope and optimism. But I don't think anyone's pinning this on Bloomfield. If they are, they're just being belligerent at this point. It is clearly better tactically. It's just that mental hurdle is one hell of a hurdle, and it's really difficult. Maybe less so at home, because we have had results at home this season. So yeah, let's hope you're right, and it's a nice, relatively comfortable win. We get 2 goals quite early and can just sit back and watch a nice, easy defensive display. That sounds like Luton, right?
Yeah.
No jeopardy.
And lightning fast attack down the other end. It's so Luton.
Yeah, so Luton.
It's so Luton. We'll see what happens. Right, but that's us done for this week. If you've enjoyed this video and you're watching, you're not subscribed, make sure to subscribe. We're watching you. So make sure you click that subscribe button, hit the bell while you're at it so you get notified when we go live. We're going to be doing a live phone-in Sunday night after the Millwall game. We're going to be chatting about the Oxford game, also the Millwall game, and general thoughts. Get your thoughts, your feelings about the transfer window out, and let us know, let everyone know. But as always, we got a game to win. So, come on, you Hatters.